September 15th, 2015. What a beautiful day. Oh, what's this? The news that Donald Trump is no longer going to be the head of The Apprentice? There's no way he's going to be our next president. Well, let me play my favorite song, What Do You Mean by Justin Bieber, trending. What do you mean? Oh, I forgot. Undertale comes out today. Let me buy it. Let me just add that to my cart. I can't wait to get home from school today and play this game because there's no way I won't play it because it's an indie game and I'm in game design school and, you know, there's just no way that 10 years later I'll pick it up again and then play it when I'm like old and forgotten and trying to rebuild myself on YouTube by reviewing video games. No way, right? Is Undertale still a masterpiece 10 years later? Now, I feel like to answer that question, I must tell you about my experience playing it myself for the first time. So recently, I decided to wake up one day and play Undertale. I wanted to know what the hype was about. Why are people so culty for this game? And why does the audience have such an attachment to these characters? Well, I get it now. Because these have to be some of the most fun, quirky characters you'll experience in a video game in the modern era. Now, before I go any further, I'm not doing any spoilers in this video. I just want to tell you guys some of the things that I experienced and what I think about the game as a whole. So don't worry if you've never played the game like me, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. In the beginning of the game, you experience this character. And it's kind of something you're familiar with as a gamer. You know, you have your first interaction and they're talking to you. And then the game starts to be Undertale. And you do something that makes Undertale unique. And then you start to understand, this game is not what you expect. And what an unexpected journey you're in for. I mean, I really fell in love with the game. At one point, I was questioning whether I should do something because of my morals. There are a few games that make me question whether I should do something morally correct or not. I was like, if I do this, well, then they'll be like this. And if I do that, then the people will be sad. And I was like, why do I care so much? And I think that is why Undertale carries such a high prestige amongst the gaming community, because it's one of those games that taps into your fundamental beliefs as a human. You start to think about all the little things you've done, all the small things that equate to this giant answer. And that answer, well, you never really get an answer because there's so many different ways that you can play the game, which I didn't know because in my first playthrough, I asked nobody to tell me anything. I went to my Discord and I said, hey, I'm going to play, please no spoilers. I knew nothing about the game. I knew nothing about anything. So I just played. And this is where the game picks up its notoriety. Undertale is one of the games with an insanely large fandom. When it hit the scene back in 2015, it was extremely popular. 2016 was the peak of the game. Every kid under the sun had their opinion about it. It was like FNAF, but on steroids. I mean, everybody had to tell you, this is how you do it. This is how you do this. This is how you do it. You're not playing the game the right way. Look, I'm telling you this, I knew nothing about this fandom, but as I surfed the web, I saw the fandom. I saw the ugliness. And look, I understand you're passionate about a game, but this is what makes people not want to try something, because everybody was like, no, you got to do it like this. No, you got to do it like that. You never beat the game because you didn't do it this way. Like, no, relax. Anybody can do whatever they want. That's what makes this game so fun, because it's about your experience with Undertale and how you complete the game. You decide if you want to go back and do it all again, or if you just want to lay it down after your first run. It is your world. It is your Undertale. It is your journey. Now, I think that is why this fandom picked up such a bad rap, because it was just a whole bunch of angry teenagers that wanted this game to be played right because they were so obsessed with these characters. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. They're really, really cool. I love them. But I'm not going to tell you, you have to do it this way and you need to talk to this person, because I got a little taste of that discussing this game after I completed it. And people were telling me, well, you didn't really do it. And I'm like, all right, chill out, you know? Let me enjoy this. What people say is a 10 out of 10. And one of the main reasons why they say it's a 10 out of 10 is because of the story. Undertale's story is happy, beautiful, sad, funny, pretty much everything you want in a great story. And you can see that across all the reviews that are 90 10s, 9s, the best reviews you can get for a video game all say how amazing the story is. And I agree with them that the story is surprisingly fantastic. I had no expectation. Honestly, I was like, how is this game so popular when I was looking at it just like briefly through the screenshots? And I think it is because of how captivating the tale is. You are just a kid traveling through the underworld, meeting monsters, facing fears. But at the same time, you see that monsters are just like you. A little insecure? I'm not insecure. Yeah, okay. The reason this game is so popular and the reason this game is the 10 out of 10 is not because of how the mechanics and the gameplay is it's so crazy and so new and refreshing. No, it's just an RPG with some clicking, and then there's a little bit of bullet time, dodging like attacks and stuff, which is kind of fun. But that's not what makes this game considered one of the greatest PC games of all time. No, what makes this game stand up with AAA titles is the story. Its beautiful beginning and its masterful ending. Now I know, the glaze, it's getting real, but look, I have to glaze something that is actually amazing. This story is something that I think every gamer should experience, whether they like the RPG elements or not. I think if you focus on the characters, the story, and overall the effort put in by Toby Fox and the artist Temmie, you will see why people rant and rave and defend this game to the world's end. So Undertale definitely deserves to be considered one of the greatest indie games of all time. Not only does the story hold up 10 years later, but so does the one most important element that every video game needs, in my opinion, to stick out amongst the pack, and that is the music. Toby Fox composed every single track by himself using FL Studio. Now, I'm a producer as well in my spare time, and let me tell you, it's no easy feat to create such memorable songs over and over and over again, from the opening to the battles to the songs in between. One of the most sonically pleasing soundtracks in history. Yes, I say history. In its 10-year life, this game has very few that rival its soundtrack. I would argue that the soundtrack alone is worth a listen if you don't even play the game. But Squala, I just want to play games where I shoot people. Shut up. You need to play this game if you want to expand your mind. And if you want to remain a dumb little baby for the rest of your life, then yes, you don't need to play Undertale, but I consider you a dumb little baby because this game is something that we all should experience as gamers. It's fun, it's a relief, it's a breath of fresh air in a pond full of uninspired bullcrap. And look, and maybe you have played it on release 10 years ago, but I urge you to go try it again to remember what a game should feel like when the developers actually give up. And that is why we need indie games, because indie games are the check to the balance. They make sure that these AAA titles know that there's still people out here that can make something with passion, that aren't here just to take all the money out of your pockets. We need games that actually feel like they are loved and not created in a chamber of hell to scrape every last dollar you make at your job. And you're supposed to relax playing these games. Anyway, I do think the charm has faded for Undertale over the 10 years. The people that were once obsessed with the game are now older. But I think that's a good thing because they were probably the ones that were making this game unbearable to begin with. So thank the Lord, save my soul. Because honestly, if I played this game in the height of its popularity, I don't think I would feel as passionate about it as I do now. So thank you. Thank you, time. But let me take a step back here and say my one issue with the game, and that is that the difficulty is a little too easy. Yes, I understand it's not meant to be difficult, but at times I just wish the puzzles were actually hard. Now that's a nitpick, and I just hate to be that guy, but I have to be that guy because I don't think it's an absolute 10 out of 10, like mind life-changing game. And honestly, that's kind of why I started this series. I'm looking for a 10 out of 10. I'm looking for a game to truly change my life. I want to play a game that will make me reconsider everything I know about this world. And that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And guys, check us out in the next video coming your way. It's going to be something about...